right, All Things MSP crew, we are back again with another update from PitchIT. And this time we are talking to Wayne Selk. Wayne Selk was one of the judges for the 2023 PitchIT program. And we wanted to bring judges on to get their perspective of the competition, and especially to find out what you can do maybe as a competitor. You know, if you're considering joining the PitchIT program for 2024, what you can expect and some of the things you should do in order to better your chances at winning that $70,000 grand prize. So, Wayne, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing great, Eric. I hope everybody that's watching this is doing great too.
Now, I know that probably everybody watching this knows who you are, but give them the 5 minute pitch, not 30-second pitch. I won't make you do five.
Okay, good. I don't like talking about myself. Um, Truthfully, so Wayne Selk, Vice President, Cybersecurity Programs over at CompTIA, the Computing Technology Industry Association. I've been in the industry I'm a recovering cybersecurity practitioner. I guess I should preface with that too, right? For over 25 years, been doing cybersecurity, the last 15 years of which has been in governance, risk, and compliance focus area. I did spend 3 years just a little over 3 years, at ConnectWise, right? Helped develop the MSP Plus playbooks, the MSP Plus framework, with some of my colleagues from Sienna Group. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm shocked. But for those of you that do, you know, everything we do, whether I was over at ConnectWise or now here at CompTIA, is really all about helping the community become
Yep.
more cyber aware.
Yep. And, you know, if people aren't aware of all the things you're doing over at CompTIA and the ISAO, I mean, it's really something that they should look into, because it is such a great program for keeping MSPs up to date and knowledgeable about the current cybersecurity threats, as well as the, just ongoing education that you need as an MSP to keep up with those cyber threats.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we have a lot of programs geared toward helping MSPs create a foundational security program. And the fun part about it, honestly, and yes, I do say it is really a lot of fun, the community is helping. So, we all want everybody to succeed, whether it's other MSP peers or colleagues of yours, all the vendor community, distributors, other associates, we all kind of come together. Ego, title, and logos are all kept at the door. And it's really about helping to better secure the community and the ecosystem overall.
So I imagine that, your specific background is one of the things that made them ask you to be a judge on PitchIT. What were some of the things that you were looking out for specifically in the PitchIT program?
Yeah, so let me I want to make sure everybody clearly understands. I was not chosen first. MJ was actually chosen. MJ ended up coming down with a bug, getting exposed to a bug, and he could not make Connect. So Mr. Sean Lardo, a very good friend of mine, I'm not going to bust his chops here. We do that enough in person with each other. But Sean was like, "Hey, would you mind filling in for MJ?" I was like, "Of course, I'd love to." So why did I agree to do it? I've heard great things about the PitchIT competition. Obviously, PitchIT was around while I was at ConnectWise, and it was really just a great time. A lot of the folks that were going through that competition get exposure to a lot of different aspects of helping to build brand, build business, understand the foundation for how successful this could actually be in the marketplace, right? And I think, especially in talking to some of the competitors last year in 2023 afterward, because I would ask them the question, did you learn anything? And they're like, oh my God, Yes, yes, this has been a wonderful opportunity, a wonderful program that ConnectWise has put together. So I
Yeah, and
was
that's one of the things I hear a lot is that it's not just a pitch it competition, it's almost an accelerated incubator program.
right. Yeah, exactly. And who would not want to take advantage of that?
Right.
Right. You know, the same thing is true. I could draw an analogy here to cybersecurity. We only know what we know, and what we don't know can actually hurt us if we're not prepared for it. And the fun part about the program is that they can actually help you prepare for things that you may not know and understand. So if you can do it, I would take advantage of it.
Yeah, now a lot of times these competitors are pitching something that's maybe a new innovation, especially because it's definitely a new product. That's part of the reason why they're doing it. But you have to balance innovation with business alignment with your expertise, cybersecurity. So when you were judging these pitches, were you looking for anything in particular around any one of those three things, the business alignment, the innovation, or the cybersecurity, that potential competitors in 2024 need to think about?
The answer is yes. I was actually looking at all three areas. I do have some interesting experience, which we can talk about over a beer. If anybody that's watching wants to understand where I'm coming from an entrepreneurial standpoint, I'm happy to have that conversation with you. But the interesting side to the folks that were up on stage for PitchIT 23, one of the things that I was really, really focused on was how well they were telling us about this product. And I kind of put myself in the shoes of who they were speaking to, right? Which is really the client base in this case, other MSPs potentially, right? That they're trying to sell a solution to. And I was looking at it from that lens, not so much from my lens over here at CompTIA, or potentially from a cybersecurity perspective. Now, my brain's always kind of noodling around with potential risk exposure and that kind of stuff from solutions that are coming in, right? Those of you that know me, I'm a huge guy on overall risk management. But really, I wanted, I think it was six. I think there were six folks on stage. Might have been five. It's been a while. Apologies. I wanted to understand how they were actually planning on helping the community, helping the solution provider ecosystem with their offering, with their potential solution. Because if you could sell that to me, it would be a real easy sell for the MSP space, right?
Awesome. So there's a lot of things that go into this competition, obviously. What are some of the common elements that you've seen that make a pitch stand out?
You have to connect with your audience. That if there's a disconnect, or um, you're uncomfortable, or you give the perception of being uncomfortable about the subject that you're kind of talking to, and this goes with anything in life, if you don't have that confidence, that's going to kind of set you back just a little bit, right? If you're not sure about what you believe in or what you're trying to push for the community. And honestly, I did see that in a couple of the presentations from 23. I didn't see that they were fully confident or believed in. That's probably a little harsh. It's not that they didn't believe in it. I just didn't feel like they believed in it. Does that make sense? So this is
It
a
does.
Wayne's perception, right? Not necessarily how they felt at the moment, because some of them were very nervous, quite honestly, being up, because that room was packed. It was standing room only. There was not a
Yeah.
chair to be had in that session.
Yep. Yep.
So
For sure.
yeah, I mean, it was kind of fun. It might have had to do with the champagne and the free booze at the back of the room, but I can digress, right?
Well, we always do everything we can to pull people into a room, but I don't think they were just there for that. I think that there were a lot of great competitors, and when it came down to the final three, I think you had three really good solutions up there on stage. So when you were judging, um, how much, and I think you kind of you went to the nervousness, the confidence side,
Right.
but going to the other side, how much more did it help if they did have that confidence, they did have the enthusiasm?
So part of the pitch it stuff that was supposed to be in their presentation was what they would use the money for, right? So how are you going to take the prize winnings and turn that into either further improving the solution, right? Better marketing the solution, or there was one other category which is escaping me at the moment because we weren't allowed to keep our notes. Um, they were all destroyed, and rightly so.
Yep.
But there's one other that's missing, escaping me. But ultimately, hearing how they were going to use that money again to make modifications, because this is where that business side comes in, right? It's one thing if you're confident up on stage about what you're selling or putting together, or that you have the best idea in the world. It's something quite different when you look at how are you going to take, because again, this would come from investors too, right? So think of it along those lines. So if the individuals were actually giving this organization $70,000 out of your hard-earned money and investing in the company, what would be your expectations on how they would utilize that money in order to drive forth a better market return down the line so that your multiplier increases, right? Oh, I love it. So, yes, yay. We can celebrate on that one. But so that was one of the other key elements that I was looking for. Are they supporting how well does this solution truly support the community? Is there a community need for what they're offering for the top, for those three finalists? And then how are they looking at their business to be able to succeed and not just squander the money that they're going to receive? Because if they do have something of value, they will start getting more investors in, and they can use the pitch it as a look. We cleared three hurdles from three very influential judges, and I love Jerry and Lisa. I think it was Lisa, that were up there with me, because we actually had the same mindset going into how we were going to judge those three finalists. So it was pretty cool.
So as the 2024 class is coming in to pitch it, and we know that our industry evolves at a very rapid pace. What are some of the things that you think the 2024 class may need to think about that the 2023 class maybe didn't?
So I have the fortunate or unfortunate position of not knowing all of the training that the folks go through from a pitch perspective. So I can only tell you what I know from seeing those three presentations on stage. Right. Um, Make sure that this, and I would say this, as a matter of fact, I did say it to two of the three who came up to me afterward, on what could we have done better. Um, make sure that you've completely aligned your business thought process on where you're going to take this down the road. I don't want you to just think about the 1 year. I want you to think about a true business plan, a 3-year, a 5-year, a 7-year kind of a scenario, right? While it's not truly in the grand scheme of things, it's not a lot of cash injection into the organization, but it is enough to help kind of move that needle, at least initially, from a bump perspective, to allow you to get think of it like grease, put enough grease on that wheel to reduce some of the friction. So make sure that you have a well thought out business plan during your PitchIT presentation. If you do become even if you don't become a finalist, you don't give up, right? You can still take this forward as an idea and see how it goes. Business plan first. Make sure you're solving for something the community actually needs. So a pain point that they have today inside of the community space that you're actually helping them solve for with an ease of use, not a burden. Because the easier we can make things on folks, especially things that fit well into automation, will actually help the community drive things more, because they don't have to necessarily hire more. Yes, they do need to hire more people, but they don't have to hire as many people to manage to a solution set. Last, make sure you understand the risk that your solution is going to bring into the community. Get ahead of that curve, right? Because the community is understanding risk management, especially third-party vendor risk management, more today than they did yesterday. And tomorrow it'll just get increasingly more aware on their side. So we're doing our part over here at the Industry Trade Association to help folks better understand third-party vendor risk. So I'm giving you guys the heads up. Make sure you're accounting for that inside of your presentation. It might even be something you want to talk about, right? Overall, don't just tell them about the bells and whistles, and don't just talk about how you can solve their problem. Tell them how you're going to do it and reduce the risk impact that you can have on their organization, or the overall risk for the organization.
All right. Well, thank you very much, sir. That's about our time. I really do appreciate you sharing your judge's perspective today on PitchIT.
Thanks, Eric, for having me. If anybody needs to talk more about it, have them reach out to me.
For more information about PitchIT, go to atmsp.link/PitchIT.